Wealth file number 12. Rich people think both. Poor people think either or. Rich people live in a world of abundance. Poor people live in a world of limitations. Of course, both live in the same physical world, but the difference is in their perspective. Poor and most middle-class people come from scarcity. They live by mottos such as, "There's only so much to go around," "There's never enough," and "You can't have everything." And although you may not be able to have everything, as in all the things in the world, I do think you can certainly have everything you really want. Do you want a successful career or a close relationship with your family? Both. Do you want to focus on business or have fun and play? Both. Do you want money or meaning in your life? Both. Do you want to earn a fortune or do the work you love? Both. Poor people always choose one. Rich people choose both. Rich people understand that with a little creativity, you can almost always figure out a way to have the best of both worlds. From now on, when confronted with an either-or alternative, the quintessential question to ask yourself is, how can I have both? This question will change your life. This doesn't just pertain to things you want, it pertains to all areas of your life. For example, several months ago, I decided to purchase a vacation home in Arizona. I scoured the area I was interested in, and every real estate agent told me the same thing. If you want 3 bedrooms plus a den in that vicinity, you're going to have to pay over $1 million. My intention was to keep my investment in this home under $1 million. Most people would have either lowered their expectations or raised their budget. I held out for both. I recently got a call that the owners of a house in the exact location I wanted, with the number of rooms that I wanted, had reduced their price by over $200,000 to under $1 million. Just another tribute to the power of intention. Poor and many middle-class people believe that they have to choose between money and the other aspects of life. Consequently, they've rationalized a position that money is not important, at least not as important as other things. Let's set the record straight. Money is important. To say that it's not as important as any of the other things in life is ludicrous. What's more important, your arm or your leg? Could it be that both are important? Happiness is important too. Again, here's where poor and middle-class people get confused. Many believe money and happiness are mutually exclusive, that either you can be rich or you can be happy. Again, this is nothing more than poor programming. People who are rich in every sense of the word understand that you have to have both. Just as you have to have both your arms and your legs, you have to have both money and happiness. Here's another major difference between rich people, middle-class people, and poor people. Rich people believe you can have your cake and eat it too. Middle-class people believe cake is too rich, so I'll only have a little piece. And poor people, well, they don't believe they deserve cake, so they order a donut, focus on the hole, and wonder why they have nothing. I ask you, what is the use of having your cake if you can't eat it? What exactly are you supposed to do with it? Put it on your mantle and look at it? Either-or thinking also trips up people who believe that if I have more, then someone else will have less. Again, this is nothing more than fear-based, self-defeating programming. The notion that the wealthy people of the world have and are somehow hoarding all the money so that there's none left for anyone else is preposterous. First, this belief assumes that there is a limited supply of money. I'm not an economist, but from what I can see, they just keep printing more of this stuff every day. The actual money supply hasn't been tied to any real asset for decades. So, even if the wealthy had all the money today, tomorrow there'd be millions, if not billions, more available. The lessons are clear. First, money does not get depleted. You can use the same money again and again for years and years and thousands of different people. Second, the more money you have, the more you can put into circulation, which means other people then have more money to trade for more value. Put bluntly, if you're so worried about other people and making sure that they get their share, as if there is a share, Do what it takes to get rich so you can spread more money around. If I can be an example for anything, it would be that you can be a kind, conscious, loving, caring, generous, and spiritual person and be really frickin' rich. I strongly urge you to dispel the myth that money is in any way bad or that you will be less good or less pure if you are wealthy. My friends, being kind, generous, and loving has nothing to do with what is or isn't in your wallet. Those attributes come from what is in your heart. Being pure and spiritual have nothing to do with what is or isn't in your bank account. Those attributes come from what's in your soul. To think that money makes you good or bad, one way or another, is either-or thinking, and just plain programmed garbage that is not supportive to either your happiness or your success. It's also not supportive to those around you, especially to children. If you are that adamant about being a good person, then please be good enough not to infect the next generation with the disempowering beliefs you may have adopted. If you really want to live a life without limits, whatever the situation, let go of either-or thinking and maintain the intention to have both. Now, place your hand on your heart and declare, I think both. And touch your head and say, I have a millionaire mind. Here are your millionaire mind actions. 1. Practice thinking of and creating ways of having both. Whenever alternatives are presented to you, ask yourself, how can I have both? 2. Become aware that money in circulation adds to everyone's life. Each time you spend money, say to yourself, this money will go through hundreds of people and create value for all of them. 3. Think of yourself as a role model for others so they can witness the combination of being kind, generous, loving, and rich. Wealth file number 13. Rich people focus on their net worth. Poor people focus on their working income. When it comes to money, people in our society typically ask, how much do you make? Seldom do you hear the question, what's your net worth? Few people talk this way, except, of course, at the country club. In country clubs, the financial discussion almost always centers around net worth. Jim just sold his stock options. He's worth over $3 million. Paul's company just went public. He's worth $8 million. Sue just sold her business. She's now worth $12 million. At the country club, you're not going to hear, hey, did you hear that Joe got a raise? Yeah, and a 2% cost of living allowance to boot. If you did hear that, you'd know you're listening to a guest for the day. The true measure of wealth is net worth, not working income. Always has been, always will be. Net worth is the financial value of everything you own. To determine your net worth, simply add up the value of everything you own, including your cash and investments such as stocks, bonds, real estate, and the current value of your business if you own one, the value of your residence if you own it, and then subtract everything you owe. Net worth is the ultimate measure of wealth because if necessary, what you own can eventually be liquidated into cash. Rich people understand the huge distinction between working income and net worth. Working income is important, but it should be understood as one of 4 elements or pillars of your net worth, as part of your full financial picture. The 4 net worth factors are 1. Income 2. Savings 3. Investments 4. Simplification. Rich people understand that building a high net worth is an equation that contains all 4 elements. Because all of these factors are essential, let's examine each one. Income comes in 2 forms, working income and passive income. Working income is the money earned from active work. This includes a paycheck from a day-to-day job, or for an entrepreneur, the profits or income taken from a business. Working income requires that you are investing your own time and labor to earn money. Working income is important because without it, it is almost impossible to address the other 3 net worth factors. Working income is how we fill up our financial funnel, so to speak. All things being equal, the more working income you earn, the more you can save and invest. Although working income is critical, again, it is only valuable as a part of the entire net worth equation. Unfortunately, out of the 4 factors, poor and many middle-class people focus exclusively on working income. Consequently, they end up with low or no net worth. Passive income is money earned without you actively working. We will discuss passive income in greater detail a little later, but for now, consider it another stream of income filling up the funnel, which can then be used for spending, savings, and investing. Savings are also imperative. You can earn wads of money, but if you don't keep any of it, you will never create wealth. Many people have a financial blueprint that is wired for spending. Whatever money they have, they spend. They choose immediate gratification over long-term balance. But without creating income to fill the funnel and savings to keep it there, it is impossible to address the next net worth factor. Now, once you've begun saving a decent portion of your income, then you can move to the next stage and make your money grow through investing. Generally, the better you are at investing, the faster your money will grow and generate a greater net worth. Rich people take the time and energy to learn about investing and investments. They pride themselves on being excellent investors, or at least hiring excellent investors to invest for them. Poor people think investing is only for rich people, so they never learn about it and stay broke. Again, every part of the equation is important. Our 4th net worth factor may well be the dark horse of the bunch, because few people recognize its importance in creating wealth. This is the factor of simplification. It goes hand in hand with saving money. The idea here is to consciously create a lifestyle in which you need less money to live on. By decreasing your cost of living, you increase your savings and the amount of funds available for investment. To illustrate the power of simplification, here's the story of one of our Millionaire Mind seminar participants. When Sue was only 23, she made a very wise choice. She purchased a home. She paid just under $300,000 at the time. 7 years later, in a sizzling hot market, Sue sold that same home for over $600,000, meaning she profited over $300,000. She considered buying a new home, but after attending the Millionaire Mind seminar, she recognized that if she invested her money in a secure second mortgage at 10% interest and simplified her lifestyle, she could actually be quite comfortable living on the earnings from her investments and not have to ever work again. Instead of purchasing a new home, she moved in with her sister. Now, at only 30 years of age, Sue is financially free. She won her independence not through earning a ton of money, but by consciously scaling back her personal overhead. Yes, she still works because she enjoys it, but she doesn't have to. In fact, she only works 6 months of the year. The rest of the time she spends in Fiji, first because she loves it, and second, she says her money goes even further over there. Again, she lives with the locals rather than the tourists and doesn't spend a lot. How many people do you know who would love to spend 6 months of each year living on a tropical island, never having to work again, at the ripe old age of 30? How about 40? 50? 60? Ever? It's all because Sue created a simple lifestyle and consequently doesn't need a fortune to live on. So, what will it take for you to be happy financially? If you need to live in a mansion, have 3 vacation homes, own 10 cars, take annual trips around the world, eat caviar and drink the finest champagne to enjoy your life, that's fine. But recognize you've set your bar pretty darn high, and it may take you a long, long time to get to a point where you're happy. On the other hand, if you don't need all the toys to be happy, you'll probably reach your financial goal a lot sooner. This recording is called Secrets of the Millionaire Mind. Does millionaire refer to income or net worth? Net worth. Therefore, if your intention is to be a millionaire or more, you must focus on building your net worth, which, as we've discussed, is based on much more than just your income. Make it a policy to know your net worth to the penny. Here's an exercise that can change your financial life forever. I want you to take a blank sheet of paper and title it Net Worth. Then create a simple chart that begins with 0 and ends with whatever your net worth objective is. Note your current net worth as it is today. Then every 90 days, enter your current net worth. That's it. If you do this, you will find yourself getting richer and richer. Why? Because you will be tracking your net worth. Remember, what you focus on expands. As I often say in our trainings, where attention goes, energy flows, and results show. By tracking your worth, you are focusing on it, and because what you focus on expands, your net worth will expand. By the way, this law goes for every other part of your life. What you track increases. I repeat, what you track increases. To that end, I encourage you to find and work with a good financial planner. These professionals can help you track and build your net worth. They will assist you in organizing your finances and introduce you to a variety of vehicles for saving and growing your money. Now, place your hand on your heart and declare, I focus on building my net worth. Touch your head and say, I have a millionaire mind. Here are your millionaire mind actions. 1. Focus on all 4 net worth factors. Increasing your income, increasing your savings, increasing your investment returns, and decreasing your cost of living by simplifying your lifestyle. 2. As I suggested, create a net worth statement. To do this, add the current dollar value of everything you own, your assets, and subtract the total value of everything you owe, your liabilities. Commit to tracking and revising this statement each quarter of the year. Again, by virtue of the law of focus, what you track will increase. 3. Hire a financial planner who is highly successful and works with a well-known, reputable company. The best way to find a great financial planner is to ask friends and associates who are happy for their referrals. Wealth file number 14. Rich people manage their money well. Poor people mismanage their money well. It may not be the most glamorous of topics, but it comes down to this. The single biggest difference between financial success and financial failure is how well you manage your money. It's simple. To master money, you must manage money. Many people don't like to manage their money because first, they say it restricts their freedom, and second, they say they don't have enough money to manage. As for the first excuse, managing money does not restrict your freedom. To the contrary, it promotes it. Managing your money allows you to eventually create financial freedom so that you never have to work again. To me, that's real freedom. You must acquire the habits and skills of managing a small amount of money before you can have a large amount. Remember, we are creatures of habit, and therefore, the habit of managing your money is more important than the amount. So how exactly do you manage your money? At the Millionaire Mind seminars, we teach what many people believe to be an amazingly simple and effective money management method. It's beyond the scope of this recording to go over every detail. However, let me give you a couple of the basics so you can get started. Open a separate bank account designated your financial freedom account. Put 10% of every dollar you receive after taxes into this fund. This money is only to be used for investments and buying or creating passive income streams. The job of this account is to build a golden goose that lays golden eggs called passive income. And when do you get to spend this money? Never. It is never spent, only invested. Eventually, when you retire, you get to spend the income from the fund, but never the principal itself. In this way, it always keeps growing and you can never go broke. It doesn't matter if you have a fortune right now or virtually nothing. What does matter is that you immediately begin to manage what you've got, and you'll be in shock at how soon you get more. I had a student at the Millionaire Mind seminar say, "How can I manage my money when I'm borrowing money to live on as it is?" The answer is, borrow an extra dollar and manage that dollar. Let's stop and examine this suggestion, which will rub some experts the wrong way. Even if you are borrowing or finding just a few dollars a month, you must learn to manage that money. Why? Because more than a physical world principle is at play here. This is also a universal or spiritual principle. Money miracles will happen when you begin handling your finances properly. In addition to opening a financial freedom bank account, create a financial freedom jar in your home and deposit money into it every day. It could be $10, $5, $1, a single penny, or all your loose change. The amount doesn't matter. Again, the habit does. The secret is to place daily attention on your objective of becoming financially free. Like attracts like. Money attracts more money. Let this simple jar become your money magnet, attracting more and more money and opportunities for financial freedom into your life. Now, I'm sure this isn't the first time you've heard the advice to save 10% of your money for long-term investing, but it may be the first time you've heard that you must have an equal and opposite account specifically designed for you to blow money and play. One of the biggest secrets to managing money is balance. On one side, you want to save as much money as possible so you can invest it and make more money. On the other side, you need to put another 10% of your income into a play account. Why? Because we are holistic in nature. You cannot affect one part of your life without affecting the others. Some people save, and while their logical and responsible self is fulfilled, their inner spirit is not. Eventually, this fun-seeking spirit side will say, "I've had enough. I want some attention too," and sabotage their results. On the other hand, if you spend, not only will you never become rich, but the responsible part of you will eventually create the situation where you don't even enjoy the things you spend your money on. Your play account is primarily used to nurture yourself, to do the things you normally wouldn't do. It's for the extra special things like going to a restaurant and ordering a bottle of the finest champagne or wine, or renting a boat for the day, or staying in a high-class hotel for an extravagant night of fun and frolic. The play account rule is that it must be spent every month. That's right. Each month, you have to blow all the money in that account in a way that makes you feel rich. The only way most of us will ever continue to follow our savings plan is by offsetting it with a playing plan that will reward us for our efforts. Your play account is also designed to strengthen your receiving muscle. It also makes managing money a heck of a lot more fun. In general, I advise that you create 5 accounts and divide your money for different purposes. In addition to the play account, the other accounts include 10% in your long-term savings for spending account, 10% into your education account, 50% into your necessities account, and 10% into your give account. It comes down to this. Either you control money or it will control you. To control money, you must manage money. Money is a big part of life, and when you learn how to get your finances under control, all areas of your life will soar. Now, place your hand on your heart and declare, "I am an excellent money manager." Now touch your head and say, "I have a millionaire mind." Here are your millionaire mind actions. 1. Open your financial freedom bank account. Put 10% of all your income after taxes into this account. This money is never to be spent, only invested to produce passive income for your retirement. 2. Create a financial freedom jar in your home and deposit money into it every single day. Remember, it could be $10, $5, $1, a single penny, or all your loose change. Again, this will put daily attention on your financial freedom, and where attention goes, results show. 3. Open a play account or have a play jar in your home where you deposit 10% of all your income. Open 4 more accounts and deposit the following percentages into each. 10% into your long-term savings for spending account, 10% into your education account, 50% into your necessities account, and 10% into your give account. 4. Whatever money you have, begin managing it now. Do not wait another day. Even if you only have $1, manage that dollar. Wealth file number 15. Rich people have their money work hard for them. Poor people work hard for their money. If you're like most people, You grew up being programmed that you have to work hard for money. Chances are good, however, that you didn't grow up with the conditioning that it was just as important to make your money work hard for you. No question, working hard is important, but working hard alone will never make you rich. Let's get this straight. The idea that you have to work hard to get rich is bogus. The old Protestant work ethic states, "A dollar's work for a dollar's pay." There's nothing wrong with that adage, except they forgot to tell us what to do with that dollar's pay. Knowing what to do with that dollar is where you move from hard work to smart work. Rich people can spend their days playing golf and relaxing because they work smart. They understand and use leverage. They employ both other people and their money to work hard for them. Yes, in my experience, you do have to work hard for your money. For rich people, however, this is a temporary situation. For poor people, it's permanent. Rich people understand that you have to work hard until your money works hard enough to take your place. They understand the more your money works, the less you will have to work. At the Millionaire Mind seminars, the goal of the money game we teach is to never have to work again unless you choose to, and that if you work by choice, not by necessity. In other words, the goal is to become financially free as quickly as possible. My definition of financial freedom is simple. It is the ability to live the lifestyle you desire without having to work or rely on anyone else for money. Notice there is a good chance that your desired lifestyle is going to cost money. Therefore, to be free, you will need to earn money without working. We refer to income without work as passive income. To win the money game, the goal is to earn enough passive income to pay for your desired lifestyle. I have identified two primary sources of passive income. The first is money working for you. This includes investment earnings from financial instruments such as stocks, bonds, T-bills, money markets, mutual funds, as well as owning mortgages or other assets that appreciate in value and can be liquidated for cash. The second major source of passive income is business working for you. This entails generating ongoing income from businesses where you do not need to personally be involved for that business to operate and yield an income. Examples include rental real estate, royalties from books, music, or software, licensing your ideas, becoming a franchisor, owning storage units, owning vending or other types of coin-operated machines, and network marketing, just to name a few. I can't overemphasize the importance of creating passive income structures. It's simple. Without passive income, you can never be free. But, and it's a big but, did you know that most people have a tough time creating passive income? Most of us were never taught how to earn passive income. Since we were never exposed to or taught about passive income and investing, we have never given it much attention. For the most part, we have largely based our career and business choices on generating working income. By choosing business opportunities that immediately or eventually produce passive income, you'll have the best of both worlds, working income now and passive income later. Rich people think long-term. They balance their spending on enjoyment today with investing for freedom tomorrow. Poor people, they think short-term. They run their lives based on immediate gratification. Poor people use the excuse, "How can I think about tomorrow when I can barely survive today?" The problem is that eventually tomorrow will become today, meaning that if you haven't taken care of today's problem, you'll be saying the same thing again tomorrow. To increase your wealth, you either have to earn more or live on less. I don't see anyone putting a gun to your head and telling you the house you have to live in, the kind of car you have to drive, the clothes you have to wear, or the food you have to eat. You have the power to make choices. It's a matter of priorities. Poor people choose now. Rich people choose balance. I think about my in-laws. For 25 years, my wife's parents owned a variety store, a low-end version of a 7-Eleven, but a lot smaller. Most of their income came from the sale of cigarettes, candy bars, ice cream bars, gum, and sodas. They didn't even sell lottery tickets in those days. The average sale was less than $1. In short, they were in a penny business. Still, they saved most of those pennies. They didn't eat out, they didn't buy fancy clothes, and they didn't drive the latest car. They lived comfortably but modestly and eventually paid off their mortgage and even bought half of the plaza the store was located within. And at only 59 years of age, my father-in-law was able to retire by saving and investing pennies. More often than not, spending money you don't have comes from expending emotions you do have. This syndrome is commonly known as retail therapy. Overspending and the need for immediate gratification have little to do with the actual item you're buying and everything to do with lack of fulfillment in your life. Of course, if overspending isn't coming from your immediate emotions, it arises from your money blueprint. Remember, the idea is to have your money work as hard for you as you do for it, and that means you have to save and invest rather than make it your mission in life to spend it all. It's almost funny. Rich people have a lot of money and spend a little, while poor people have a little money and spend a lot. Rich people buy assets, things that will likely go up in value. Poor people buy expenses, things that will definitely go down in value. Rich people collect land. Poor people collect bills. I'll tell you the same thing I tell my kids. Buy real estate. It's best if you can purchase property that can produce positive cash flow, but as far as I'm concerned, any real estate is better than no real estate. Sure, real estate has its ups and downs, but in the end, be it 5, 10, 20, or 30 years from now, you can bet it will be worth a heck of a lot more than it is today, and it could be all you need to get rich. Buy what you can afford now. If you need more capital to get involved, you can partner with people you trust and know well. The only way to get in trouble with real estate is to overextend yourself and have to sell in a down market. If you heed my earlier advice and manage your money properly, the likelihood of this happening will be extremely slim and likely none. As the saying goes, don't wait to buy real estate and wait. The trick is to get educated. Learn about the investment world. Become familiar with a variety of different investment vehicles and financial instruments, such as real estate, mortgages, stocks, funds, bonds, currency exchange, the whole gamut. Then choose one primary area in which to become an expert. Begin investing in that area and then diversify into more later. It comes down to this. Poor people work hard and spend all their money, which results in their having to work hard forever. Rich people work hard, save, and then invest their money so they never have to work hard again. Now place your hand on your heart and declare, "My money works hard for me and makes me more and more money." And touch your head and say, "I have a millionaire mind." Here are your millionaire mind actions. 1. Get educated. Take investment seminars. Read at least one investment book a month. Read magazines such as Money, Forbes, Barron's, and the Wall Street Journal. I'm not suggesting you follow their advice. I'm suggesting you get familiar with what financial options are out there. Then choose an arena to become an expert in and begin investing in that area. 2. Change your focus from active income to passive income. List at least 3 specific strategies with which you could create income without working in either the investment or the business field. Begin researching and then take action on these strategies. 3. Don't wait to buy real estate. Buy real estate and wait. Wealth file number 16. Rich people act in spite of fear. Poor people let fear stop them. Millions of people think about getting rich, and thousands of people do affirmations, visualizations, and meditations for getting rich. I meditate almost every day, yet I've never sat there meditating or visualizing and had a bag of money drop on my head. I guess I'm just one of those unfortunate ones who actually has to do something to be a success. Affirmations, meditations, and visualizations are all wonderful, wonderful tools. But as far as I can tell, none of them on its own is going to bring you any real money in the real world. In the real world, you have to take real action to succeed. Why is action so critical? Let's go back to our process of manifestation that we discussed earlier in the recording. Thoughts lead to feelings, feelings lead to actions, actions lead to results. Let's look at thoughts and feelings. Are they part of the inner world or the outer world? The inner world. Now look at results. Are they part of the inner world or part of the outer world? The outer world. That means action is the bridge, I repeat, the bridge between the inner world and the outer world. So if action is so important, what prevents us from taking the actions we know we need to take? In one word, fear. Fear, doubt, and worry are among the greatest obstacles not only to success, but to happiness as well. Therefore, one of the biggest differences between rich people and poor people is that rich people are willing to act in spite of fear. Poor people let fear stop them. It's imperative to realize that it is not necessary to try and get rid of fear in order to succeed. Rich and successful people have fear. Rich and successful people have doubts. Rich and successful people have worries. They just don't let these feelings stop them. Unsuccessful people have fears, doubts, and worries and let those feelings stop them. Because we are creatures of habit, we need to practice acting in spite of fear. Practice acting in spite of doubt. Practice acting in spite of worry, in spite of uncertainty, in spite of inconvenience, in spite of discomfort, and even to practice acting when we're not in the mood to act. Why is acting in spite of discomfort so important? Well, because comfortable is where you're at right now. If you want to move to a new level in your life, you must break through your comfort zone and practice doing things that are not comfortable. Let's suppose you are currently leading a level 5 life and you want to move to a level 10 life. Level 5 and below are within your comfort zone, but level 6 and above are outside your box, in your uncomfort zone. Meaning, to get a level 10 life from a level 5 life, you will have to travel through your uncomfort zone. Poor people and most middle-class people are not willing to be uncomfortable. Remember, being comfortable is their biggest priority in life. But let me tell you a secret that only rich and highly successful people know. Being comfortable is highly overrated. Being comfortable may make you feel warm and fuzzy and secure, but it doesn't allow you to grow. To grow as a person, you have to expand your comfort zone. Did you know that the only time you can actually grow is when you're outside your comfort zone? Let me ask you a question. The first time you tried something new, was it comfortable or uncomfortable? Usually uncomfortable. But what happened afterward? The more you did it, the more comfortable it became, right? That's how it goes. Everything is uncomfortable at the beginning, but if you stick with it and continue, you will eventually move through the uncomfort zone and succeed. Then you have a new expanded comfort zone, which means you'll have become a bigger person. Again, the only time you are actually growing is when you are uncomfortable. From now on, whenever you feel uncomfortable, instead of retreating back into your old comfort zone, pat yourself on the back and say, I must be growing, and continue moving forward. If you want to be rich and successful, you better get comfortable with being uncomfortable. You know, nobody ever died of discomfort. Yet living in the name of comfort has killed more ideas, more opportunities, more actions, and more growth than everything else combined. Comfort kills. If your goal in life is to be comfortable, I guarantee two things. First, you will never be rich. Second, you will never be happy. Happiness does not come from living a lukewarm life, always wondering what could have been. Happiness comes as a result of being in our natural state of growth and living up to our fullest potential. Try this. The next time you are feeling uncomfortable, uncertain, or afraid, instead of shrinking and retreating back to safety, press forward. Notice and experience the feelings of discomfort, recognizing that they are only feelings and that they do not have the power to stop you. If you doggedly continue in spite of discomfort, I guarantee you will eventually reach your goal. Whether the feelings of discomfort ever subside doesn't matter. In fact, when they do lessen, take it as a sign to increase your objective, because the minute you get comfortable, you have stopped growing. Again, to grow yourself to your fullest potential, you must always be living at the edge of your box. And again, because we are creatures of habit, we must practice. I urge you to practice acting in spite of fear. Practice acting in spite of inconvenience. Practice acting in spite of discomfort. And practice acting even when you're not in the mood. By doing so, you will quickly move to a higher level of life. And along the way, make sure you check your bank account because guaranteed that will be growing quickly too. Just so you know, your mind is the greatest soap opera scriptwriter in history. It makes up incredible stories, usually based in dramas and disasters, of things that never happened and probably never will. Mark Twain said it best. He said, "I've had thousands of problems in my life, most of which never actually happened." One of the most important things you can ever understand is that you are not your mind. You are much bigger and greater than your mind alone. That's why training and managing your own mind is the most important skill you could ever own in terms of both happiness and success. And that's exactly what we've been doing with this recording and will continue to do with you should you attend one of our live seminars. So, how do you train your mind? You start with observation. Notice how your mind consistently produces thoughts that are not supportive to your wealth and happiness. As you identify those thoughts, you can begin to consciously replace those non-empowering thoughts with empowering ones. So where do you find these empowering ways of thinking? Right here, in this recording. Every one of the declarations in this audio is an empowering and successful way of thinking. Adopt these ways of thinking, being, and attitudes as your own. You don't have to wait for a formal invitation. Decide right now that your life would be better if you chose to think in the ways we've been describing in this recording, instead of through the self-defeating mental habits of the past. You can choose your thoughts. You have the natural ability to cancel any thought that is not supporting you at any time. You can also install self-empowering thoughts at any time, simply by choosing to focus on them. You have the power to control your mind. So what is the difference between power thinking and positive thinking? The distinction is slight but very profound. To me, people use positive thinking to pretend that everything is rosy when they really believe inside that it's not. With power thinking, however, we understand that everything is neutral, that nothing has meaning except for the meaning we give it, and that we are going to make up a story and give something its meaning. With positive thinking, people believe that their thoughts are true. Power thinking, however, recognizes that our thoughts are not true, but since we're making up a story anyway, we might as well make up a story that supports us. We don't do this because our new thoughts are true in an absolute sense, but because they are more useful to us and feel a heck of a lot better than non-supportive ones. Declarations. Now place your hand on your heart and declare, I act in spite of fear. I act in spite of doubt. I act in spite of worry. I act in spite of inconvenience. I act in spite of discomfort. I act when I'm not in the mood. And now touch your head and say, I have a millionaire mind. Here are your millionaire mind actions. 1. List your 3 greatest worries, concerns, or fears regarding money and wealth. Challenge them. For each, write down what you would do if the situation you fear actually happened. Could you still survive? Could you make a comeback? Chances are that the answers are yes. Now quit worrying and start getting rich. 2. Practice getting out of your comfort zone. Intentionally make decisions that are uncomfortable for you. Speak to people you normally wouldn't speak to. Ask for a raise in your job or raise your prices in your business. Wake up an hour earlier each day. Take a walk in the woods at night by yourself. 3. Employ power thinking. Observe yourself and your thought patterns. Only entertain thoughts that support your happiness and success. Challenge the little voice in your head whenever it tells you I can't, or I don't want to, or I don't feel like it. Not only will you increase your confidence dramatically, but eventually this voice will get quieter and quieter as it recognizes it has little effect on you. Wealth file number 17. Rich people constantly learn and grow. Poor people think they already know. At the beginning of my live seminars, I introduce people to what I call the 3 most dangerous words in the English language. Those words are, I know that. So how do you know if you know something? Simple. If you live it, you know it. Otherwise, you heard about it, you read about it, you sure talk about it, but you don't know about it. Put bluntly, if you are not really rich and really happy, there's a good chance you still have some things to learn about money, success, and life. As I explained at the beginning of this recording, during my broke days, I was fortunate to get some advice from a multimillionaire friend who had some compassion for my plight. Remember what he said to me, Harv, if you're not as successful as you like to be, there's something you don't know. Fortunately, I took his suggestion to heart and went from being a know-it-all to a learn-it-all. From that moment on, everything changed. Poor people are often trying to prove that they're right. They put on a mask as if they've got it all figured out, and they say it's just some stroke of bad luck or a temporary glitch in the universe that has them broke or struggling. There's a saying that author and speaker Jim Rohn uses that makes perfect sense here. He says this, if you keep doing what you've always done, you'll keep getting what you've always got. See, you already know your way. What you need is to know some new ways. My goal here is to give you some new mental files to add to the ones you already have. New files mean new ways of thinking, new actions, and therefore new results. That's why it's imperative you continue to learn and grow. You know, physicists agree that nothing in this world is static. Everything alive is constantly changing. Take any plant. If a plant isn't growing, it's automatically dying. It's the same with people, as well as all other living organisms. If you are not growing, you have to be dying. It's funny. Poor people claim they can't afford to get educated due to lack of time or money. Whenever I offer the Millionaire Mind Intensive program, I find it very interesting that it's usually the people who are the most broke who say, I don't need the course, or I don't have the time, or I don't have the money. Meanwhile, the millionaires and multimillionaires all register and say, hey, if I can learn just one new thing or make one improvement, it's worth it. I'm sorry, but saying I don't have the money just doesn't cut it. When will you have the money? What is going to be different a year or 2 years or 5 years from now? Here's the easy answer. Nothing. And you'll be saying exactly the same words again at that time. The only way I know to have the money you want is to learn how to play the money game inside and out. You need to learn the skills and strategies to accelerate your income, to manage money, and to invest it effectively. The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results. Look, if what you've been doing were working, chances are you'd already be rich and happy by now. Anything else your mind conjures up as a response is nothing more than an excuse or justification. Look, I hate to be so in your face about it, but the way I see it, that's my job. I believe a good coach will always ask more of you than you will ask of yourself. Otherwise, why the heck do you need one? As a coach, my goal is to train you, inspire you, encourage you, coax you, and have you observe in full living color what is holding you back. In short, to do whatever it takes to move you to the next level in your life. If I have to, I'll rip you apart and then piece you back together in a way that works. I'll do whatever it takes to make you 10 times happier and 100 times as rich. Hear this. If you're looking for Pollyanna, I'm not your guy. If you want to move quickly and permanently, let's continue. The fact is, success is a learnable skill. You can learn to succeed at anything. If you want to be a great golfer, you can learn how to do that. If you want to be a great piano player, you can learn how to do that. If you want to be truly happy, you can learn how to do that. If you want to be rich, you can learn how to do that too. It doesn't matter where you are right now. It doesn't matter where you're starting from. What matters is that you are willing to learn. One of my better-known quotes is, "Every master was once a disaster." No one, I repeat, no one comes out of the womb a financial genius. Every rich person learned how to succeed at the money game, and so can you. Remember, your motto is, if they can do it, I can do it. Becoming rich isn't as much about getting rich financially as about whom you have to become in character and mind to get rich. I want to share a secret with you that very few people know. The fastest way to get rich and stay rich is to work on developing you. The goal is to grow yourself into a successful person. Again, your outer world is merely a reflection of your inner world. You are the root, and your results are the fruits. Heed this warning, however. If you don't do this kind of work on yourself, and somehow you make a lot of money, it was probably a stroke of luck. There's a good chance you'll lose it. But if you become a successful person, inside and out, you'll not only make it, you'll keep it, grow it, and most important, you'll be truly happy. In short, success is not a what, it's a who. The good news is that who you are is totally trainable and learnable. I should know. By no means am I perfect or even close to it, but when I look at who I am today, as opposed to who I was 25 years ago, I can see a direct correlation between me and my wealth, or lack of it then, and me and my wealth now. I learned my way to success, and so can you. You know, I found that another key difference between rich people and poor and middle-class people is that rich people are experts in their field. Middle-class people, well, they're mediocre in their field, and poor people, you guessed it, they're poor in their field. How good are you at what you do? How good are you at your job? How good are you at your business? Would you like a totally unbiased way of knowing? Look at your paycheck. That will tell you everything. It's simple. To get paid the best, you must be the best. We recognize this principle in the professional sports world every day. Generally, the best players in every sport earn and get paid the most. They also make the most money on endorsements. This same principle also holds true in both the business and financial worlds. Whether you choose to be a business owner, a professional, a network marketing distributor, whether you're in commission sales or a salary job, whether you're an investor in real estate, stocks, or anything else, one thing is for certain. The better you are at it, the more you'll earn. This is just another reason why being a continuous learner and enhancing your skill in whatever arena you're in is imperative. While we're on the topic of learning, it's worth noting that rich people not only continue to learn, they make sure they learn from those who have already been where they themselves want to go. One of the things that made the biggest difference for me personally was whom I learned from. I always made it a point to learn from true masters in their respective fields, not those who claimed to be experts, but those who had real-world results to back up their talk. Rich people take advice from people who are richer than they are. Poor people, well, they take advice from their friends, who usually are just as broke as they are. That's why I highly recommend you consider hiring a personal success coach. A good coach will keep you on track in doing what you've said you want to do. Some coaches are life coaches, meaning they handle the gamut of everything, while other coaches have specialties that might include personal or professional performance, finances, business, relationships, health, and even spirituality. Again, find out your prospective coach's background to ensure the coach has demonstrated success in the arenas of importance to you. Remember, the more you learn, the more you earn, and you can take that to the bank. To this end, as part of our Millionaire Mind money management method, I strongly suggest that you put 10% of your income into an education fund. Use this money specifically for courses, books, tapes, CDs, or any other way you choose to educate yourself, whether through the formal education system, private training companies, or personalized one-on-one coaching. Whatever method you choose, this fund ensures you will always have the wherewithal to learn and grow instead of repeating the poor person's refrain of, "I already know." Now, place your hand on your heart and declare, "I am committed to constantly learning and growing." And touch your head and say, "I have a millionaire mind." Here are your millionaire mind actions. 1. Commit. I repeat, commit to your growth. Each month, read at least one book, listen to one educational tape or CD, or take a seminar on money, business, or personal development. Your knowledge, your confidence, and your success will soar. 2. Consider hiring a personal coach to keep you on track. 3. Attend the Millionaire Mind Intensive Seminar. This amazing event has transformed the lives of thousands and thousands of people and will transform your life too. So what the heck do I do now? You might be asking yourself. Where do I start? I've said it before and I'll say it again and again and again. Talk is cheap. I hope you enjoyed listening to this recording, but more important, I hope you use its principles to dramatically enhance your life. In my experience, however, listening alone will not make the difference you're looking for. It's a great start, but if you want to succeed in the real world, it's going to be your actions that count. In part 1 of this recording, I introduced the concept of your money blueprint. It's simple. Your financial blueprint will determine your financial destiny. Make certain you do each of the exercises I suggested in the arenas of verbal programming, modeling, and specific incidents in order to begin changing your blueprint to one that supports financial success. I also encourage you to do the declarations I suggested each and every day. In part 2 of this recording, you learn specific ways that rich people think differently from poor and middle-class people. I recommend you commit each of these wealth files to memory by repeating the declarations daily. This will root these principles into your mind. Eventually, you will find yourself looking at life, and especially money, very differently. From there, you will make new choices and decisions and create new results. To speed up this process, make sure you do the action exercises given at the end of each of the wealth files. These action exercises are imperative. For change to be permanent, it must occur on a cellular basis. Your brain's wiring must be remade. This means you have to put the material into practice. Don't just listen to this recording, don't just talk about it, and don't just think about it. Actually do it. But beware of the little voice in your head saying something like, "Exercises, schmexercises. I don't need or have time for exercises." Notice who's doing the talking here. The conditioned mind, that's who. Remember, its job is to keep you right where you are in your comfort zone. Don't listen to it. Do the action exercises, do your declarations, and then watch your life skyrocket. I also suggest you listen to this recording from beginning to end at least once a month for the next year. What? Your little voice might be screaming. I've already heard it. Why do I need to hear it over and over again? Good question. And the answer is simple. Repetition is the mother of learning. Again, the more you listen to this recording, the faster the concepts will become natural and automatic for you. And be sure to visit www.millionairemindbook.com and click on free book bonuses to receive several valuable gifts that include a printable list of declarations suitable for framing, the Millionaire Mind Thought of the Week, the Millionaire Mind Action Reminder, and the Millionaire Mind Net Worth Tracking Sheet. As I stated earlier, I learned my way to success, and so now it's my turn to assist others. My mission is to educate and inspire people to live in their higher self, based in courage, purpose, and joy versus fear, need, and obligation. I am truly blessed to have seminars, workshops, and camps that transform people's lives quickly and permanently. I'm thrilled to have been able to help over 250,000 people become richer and happier. So, from my heart to yours, I invite you to attend the 3-day Millionaire Mind Intensive Seminar. This event will take you to an entirely new level of success. At this course, we will actually change your money blueprint right on the spot. In one incredible weekend, you will break through whatever is holding you back from reaching your full financial potential. You will walk out of the program with a brand new outlook on life, on money, on your relationships, and on yourself. Many attendees count the Millionaire Mind Intensive as one of the most important experiences of their life. It's fun, it's exciting, and it's packed with profound knowledge and essential financial skills. You will also meet hundreds of like-minded people from all over the world, many of whom could become business associates and lifelong friends. So as a thank you for purchasing the audio of Secrets of the Millionaire Mind, you can qualify for 2 free tickets to the entire 3-day Millionaire Mind Intensive Seminar, a total value of $2,590. Simply go to the website www.millionairemindbook.com, or if you don't have access to a computer, call 1-888-6-BE-RICH. That's 1-888-6-BE-RICH. Well, that's it for now. Thank you so much for spending your precious time listening to this recording. I wish you tremendous success and true happiness, and I look forward to meeting you in person soon. For your freedom, T.Harv Eker.
We hope you've enjoyed this program from Harper Audio. For more information about the broad range of titles from Harper Audio, Harper Children's Audio, and Cadman, please visit our website at www.harperaudio.com. You can also call 1-800-331-3761. Thank you for listening.